right, guys, welcome back. The Wednesday video this time is going to be a little bit different. Something that I've never explained on the channel is where the name Stereo Mojo comes from, and the logo, as far as what the logo looks like. There's actually some pretty deep history here to this, but let's go back 22 years ago. Yeah, 22 years ago, I started up a small lawn care business on the side. I had been at my current job 2 years. I've been there 24 years now, by the way. So I never did quit my regular job and all that. This was just sort of a side hustle. But I decided to start making some money on the side. A buddy of mine was doing that, and I got to see up close and personal how much money you could make, cutting grass, per hour, or however you want to look at it. And so I decided, hey, that would be great for me and my family to bring in some extra money. And so I decided to start my own little lawn care business. And I wanted to come up with a clever name. I've always appreciated clever names for companies as much as possible. And so my name is Joe, and this is what I come up with. All right, so I decided to use a play on words here with MoJo's. MoJo, normally MoJo, is something that you'll see here and there sometimes, especially if your name is Joe. You're probably going to hear that maybe a little more often than the average person. But I thought it would be cool to use a play on words here with my name and do mow, like mow the grass. And these are magnets, by the way. There's two magnets here that you put on the side of your vehicle. I had 3 sets of these. This is the only one left, but I covered up my phone number here too, by the way. But anyhow, I come up with that logo 22 years ago, way before the YouTube channel, right? How many years before? 19 or 20 years before the YouTube channel. I need to explain that a little bit too, maybe in another video. I've actually got another YouTube channel that's a lot older than this one. Yeah, maybe another video. I'm not still active on that channel, if anybody's wondering. I do have a whole lot of videos over there of some very random content. But anyhow, so this is the beginning of MoJo's, was a lawn care business. Now, the funny thing about it is I actually still have that business. I do a very tiny amount of that still nowadays, where back then I was mowing quite a bit of grass in the afternoons when I would get off at my regular job. And that business, it grew and grew, and it grew to be more yards than I wanted to take care of. So I got a couple of buddies of mine. Well, before that, I went through some other guys, honestly. There's some stories there for sure. But I wound up with 2 friends of mine, great guys. I'm still friends with both of them, that wound up mowing for me, and we got to set it up in like a subcontractor type of situation, which was better for all of us. They had their own equipment, they was doing their own thing, but they was mowing these yards for me and making the majority of what those yards paid. A very high percentage of what that yard paid is what they made. That was why there was 2 other sets of magnets as well. But I've still got that business. I still buy my business license every year for that, and I still mow just a tiny bit of grass. Just sort of keeping that going. There was a number of years in between where I quit doing it for a while, but if you ever get into lawn business, especially I still had lots of equipment. I love the equipment. I love the commercial equipment, and it's just one of those things. It's hard to completely get out of it, especially if you enjoyed doing it. But so that is actually where the name MoJo comes from for me. So fast forward 19, 20 years, I decide I'm going to start a YouTube channel about car audio, something that I've loved since I was 16 years old. I'm 49, by the way, now. I don't mind telling my age. I'll be 50 at the very end of this year. But yeah, I'm kind of an older guy, but but I've been into car audio since I was 16 years old, and also there was a number of years in between there when I was just a family man and had young kids and didn't do anything at all with car audio for a long time. But I had several systems over the years, including when my kids were little. Skylar for sure. Let me think about that. You know, Skylar and Trenton both. I had a system in a K5 Blazer when they were little. That was probably the last one that I had up until I got back into this 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember how many now, but longer than I started this channel. I got back into car audio. Me and Skylar and Trenton were doing it before I started this channel. Anyhow, I'm rambling here a little bit too much, but fast forward, I decided I'm going to start a YouTube channel about car audio, and I wanted to come up with a name, and I'm kicking around names. I'm trying to come up with something kind of clever, and what I come up with, guys, I brought y'all out just some items. It was easier for me to just grab some items with the name on it, and it looks a little nicer too than just flashing up on the screen a you know, a screenshot of the logo or something. But Stereo MoJo, and I decided to change the wording because it no longer needed to be MOW, like mow the grass, right? And the stereo and MoJo, the way they kind of rhyme. If anybody has ever wondered if MoJo for me has anything at all to do with Memphis audio, it does not. In fact, I don't think I have ever owned a single MoJo product. I'm trying to think if I ever done a MoJo amplifier. Gosh. If so, maybe one. I can't even remember, honestly, if I did or didn't. But I can assure you the name MoJo for my YouTube channel has nothing to do at all with Memphis car audio. Now, people's probably thought, I bet he likes the MoJo subs, or I bet he likes the MoJo amps or whatever, but it actually doesn't have anything at all. It has to do with this. And, you know, my name being Joe. So, y'all know about a year ago, I decided to come out with some of my own products. I sell ferrules, lugs, heat shrink, amplifiers, and all of that. And I did not want to just call that stuff Stereo MoJo. And especially since I realized I might be coming out with amplifiers, think about me putting Stereo MoJo on amplifiers with Memphis having the MoJo line that they have. So I wanted to come out with something unique. I thought of a lot of cool, clever names, but they were all so close to other car audio names that was already in existence. And I thought, no, I need to just be completely different, something that nobody's got. And that was why I decided to go with my last name. Is that in frame? Yes. So, but you can see the similarity. Maybe I need to be a little more unique with my logos, right? But the truth is, I actually like all of these logos a lot, especially these two. I've grown to like these a lot. Welsh Audio is probably my favorite. I just think that's so clean looking, but Stereo MoJo as well. These are different fonts. Well, I can't remember. I've got all the fonts written down. I know that the stereo and the audio is different. I think that audio and that lawn care is the same, but these two might be the same. I have to go look, but I know they're different than what that font is. But green is my favorite color. I've always wanted to stick with the green and white, or anytime these logos ended up on something that was a light colored, the lawn care, the stereo, and the audio is black, but it's always green. But that's really it, guys. If you've ever wondered why my YouTube channel is Stereo MoJo, or thought that it was just completely random, there was a reason, a reason why. Thought y'all might enjoy this. Y'all know I've always just been open and honest, and y'all see that I'm just a regular guy, and I think that's why you guys enjoy the channel, is because I'm so open and honest and normal. But that's it. That's where it comes from. And guys, we are still working on the build, Skylar's build, and that has taken us a lot longer than we thought it would. There's two main reasons why. Number one, we're just slow because we do things very calculated. So when we have a whole day to work on his build, we're not out in the garage just banging it out and seeing how much we can get done. And we're actually very calculated. We go slow on purpose. And I don't know. That's just part of it. And our time is limited. So we're only working on that every other weekend. And then sometimes on those weekends, we only get to work on it for one day instead of both days, or maybe even a half a day instead of all weekend long. And then occasionally we'll work on it, some for 2 days. But that's it. We're slow, and we're limited on how often we are working on it. But I can promise you, we're not dragging it out for the sake of making as many YouTube videos out of it as we can. We would much rather have that thing done and be listening to it and enjoying it. If anybody's ever thought that we were milking that for the sake of making a bunch of YouTube videos, we're not. Nobody's even said that, to be honest, but it's something that I've kind of wondered if people are thinking or wondering themselves. But we're going to get back to that this coming up weekend. We're planning on working on that some more. That should produce another video or two. And so yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about the names, the logos, and the history behind all of it. Yeah, I love hearing the feedback from you guys. I've got a great audience, a great group of guys that I interact with pretty much weekly, and I like to hear from you guys. So let me know what you think about all this, and guys, we will see you next time.